Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, for tonight I shall tell you the tale of a fight between two men, both with burning ambition, yet destined for different paths in the world of mixed martial arts. This story takes place in a small, intense moment inside the unforgiving Octagon. A clash of titans, where raw talent and hardened experience collide, where victory and defeat are determined in seconds. But before we get into the heart of this battle, let me take you back in time to understand who these men were. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the eagle takes flight. Khabib Nurmagomedov, born in the rugged and remote lands of Dagestan, Russia, was more than a fighter. He was a phenomenon in the making. From an early age, he had the heart of a warrior, trained under the strict supervision of his father, who was no stranger to the brutal discipline of wrestling. Dagestan, known for its fierce fighters, forged Khabib into a lethal machine. He was a man who was born to fight, a man whose destiny seemed intertwined with the mat. But unlike most fighters, Khabib was not only driven by the desire for victory. He was determined to prove something more significant to the world, that the Dagestani spirit, a mix of toughness, honor, and pride, could be channeled into something truly great. From a young age, he trained with the best, his style combining traditional wrestling with sambo and judo. By the time he was in his early 20s, Khabib had already amassed an undefeated streak in combat sports, one that would soon transition into the world of MMA. Khabib's rise through the MMA ranks was meteoric. Every opponent who faced him felt the unrelenting pressure of his grappling. He was a storm in the octagon, a whirlwind of determination that made even the strongest fighters struggle to stay on their feet. With an iron grip and relentless tenacity, Khabib became a force to be reckoned with in the UFC. Thiago Tavares, the Brazilian warrior. Now, on the opposite side, let's talk about Thiago Tavares, a Brazilian fighter from the storied region of Santa Catarina. Tavares was no stranger to the art of mixed martial arts. With a foundation in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he had the technical expertise and the toughness of a true Brazilian warrior. But his journey had been one of ups and downs. Thiago's name had echoed across the MMA world after his debut in the UFC back in 2006. A prodigious talent with a ferocious submission game, Tavares was touted as one of the rising stars of the lightweight division. He was known for his grappling, his tough chin, and his relentless fighting spirit. However, despite his early success, Thiago's career had been a roller coaster. He had faced some of the most difficult fighters in the world and had been tested time and time again. While his heart and technique were undeniable, the competition in the UFC's lightweight division had proven to be a challenge. Tavares had his share of victories, but there were also losses, some brutal, some close, that had left him questioning his place in the elite tier of the sport. Still, Thiago remained relentless. His Brazilian warrior mentality never let him stop pushing forward. This fight against Khabib was another opportunity to prove his worth, a chance to silence his critics and re-establish himself as a contender. Part 2, the moment of battle. The stage is set. The lights are glaring, the air thick with anticipation. The fans in the crowd are murmuring, waiting for the fight to begin. Khabib walks into the cage, calm and composed, his eyes steely with focus. On the other side, Thiago Tavares, despite the pressure, looks confident, his body radiating the calmness of someone who has been through the fire. As the bell rings, the tension in the air is palpable. Round 1, the clash of styles. As the fight begins, Khabib immediately takes control of the center of the cage. His striking is purposeful, not flashy, but each punch thrown with intention. Khabib, though a dominant grappler, has developed an effective stand-up game, and he uses it to establish distance and pressure. He circles, watches, waits for that opening. Thiago, on the other hand, knows the dangers of facing a fighter like Khabib. He's aware of Khabib's wrestling dominance and has trained himself to avoid being taken down. He tries to land some sharp strikes, attempting to use his jiu-jitsu background to stay competitive, but Khabib's presence looms over him like a shadow. But then, it happens. Without warning, Khabib shoots in for a takedown. It's quick, it's decisive, and it's done with surgical precision. Tavares, who had hoped to keep the fight standing, finds himself on the back foot as Khabib controls the pace on the mat. Thiago struggles, trying to scramble to his feet, but Khabib's pressure is unyielding. In a swift moment, Khabib transitions, landing a series of punches to the head of Thiago. The Brazilian's defense is solid, but Khabib's relentless assault forces him to cover up. With no room to breathe, Thiago realizes he's in the lion's den. The TKO finish. Khabib doesn't waste a moment. He presses forward with a ground and pound attack, each punch methodical and calculated. Thiago, now desperate to escape, tries to move, to fight back, but it's clear that Khabib has him trapped. In a flash, Khabib lands a clean shot, a precise punch that rocks Thiago's head back. Another follows, then another. Thiago's resistance begins to fade as his body gives way to the onslaught. The referee sees enough. TKO punches. The referee steps in to stop the fight, and Khabib's hand is raised in victory. Crowd erupts in cheers as Khabib calmly acknowledges the win, his focus unwavering. Part 3. Aftermath and Legacy. As Khabib walks out of the cage, his victory speaks volumes. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. His dominance in the lightweight division was undeniable. For Thiago, this loss marked another setback in his career, but like a true warrior, he would come back stronger. The fight was over in a flash, but it was a fight that showed Khabib's blend of strategy, power, and precision. Thiago Tavares may have been an experienced fighter with a wealth of talent, but Khabib's relentless pressure, his vision, and his ability to close the distance quickly made the difference. And so, the story goes. The night was young, and the fight was over, but the legacy of Khabib Nurmagomedov continued to grow. For Thiago Tavares, it was another chapter in his career, another opportunity to rise again. But for Khabib, it was one step closer to immortality in the annals of MMA history.